gonna play just a little bit of trivia with you, and there we go. All right, and just very, very quickly here. In 1961 500, there were 2 drivers that could say, I have driven in the Daytona 500 and the Indianapolis 500. And Paul Goldsmith was one. Who was the other? The answer might surprise you. It's Parnelli Jones. Ran in the Daytona 500 in 1960. All right, 1977. There were 2 drivers that could say, I drove in the Daytona 500 and the Indianapolis 500. A.J. Foyt is one. Johnny Rutherford is another. Who's the third one?
Mario.
Janet Guthrie. On into probably, golly, what years would we be talking about? Mid-90s. The driver, and I was trying to do this off the top of my head, the top 3 in all-time Trans Am wins. And I think Jack Baldwin was first, or was it Greg Prickett? But I know that Scott Sharp was second.
Not Prickett.
All right. But anyway, there's this bit of trivia is going down the drain. But in the mid-90s, who ranked 3rd in terms of all-time Trans Am wins? How about Willie T. Ribbs? Yeah. Anyway, for those of you that are doing this for the first time, and I'm probably guessing that's nobody, we've got Willie T. We got 3-time winner Bobby Unser, twice on the pole, and the man that just blew the qualification records to smithereens in '72. We've got Parnelli Jones, 1963 Indianapolis winner, and the first man to do 150 at the Speedway. 2-time winner Al Unser Jr. is next. And then the first lady of racing is Janet Guthrie, first lady to drive in the 500 in 1977. And for a while, that everything that she did was a first. And then a surprise guest, we've got Robbie Unser. We haven't seen him for a while. And just a tip of the hat to you, Robbie, because one of my favorite phrases is that you can't always tell the performance by looking at the finishing results. And in 1998, Robbie Unser finished 5th in the 500, and it looked like he had a great career ahead of him. But more importantly, that the 5th, there was for a long period where you were running 3rd. And I think that was like 30, 40, 50 laps where he was in 3rd place. It was a hell of a job. And in any other year, you would have won Rookie of the Year, but you were up against some opposition. So anyway, at this point, I'm not going to ask any questions because I'm sure that many of you have questions. We're going to go for a little bit here, and then we're going to take you outside. We want to do a photo shoot. We've got Parnelli's 63 winner. We've got Bobby Unser's 81 winner, and we're going to do a photo shoot with the group, and then we'll break up, and then you can do the one-on-ones. But for the next few minutes, anybody got any questions for the legendary half dozen that we've got up here? No questions?
What's your first impression of this event?
Well, if you're asking me, I think it's phenomenal. I think it's going to grow into something even bigger than it is today. And I was so impressed when I came here and see all the beautiful cars out there and all the action. And I can understand there's so many people that have these beautiful cars and don't have any place to run them. And when it comes to running them at different racetracks around the country and stuff, when they do run them, they got a first chance to run them at Indianapolis. And I think that's a big deal. And I think that's one of the reasons it's going to blow into a big, big thing here.
I'd like to just hop in and also put my 2 cents in. I'm absolutely astonished at this event because we knew it was coming and I saw the numbers on the paper, but it wasn't until they started running on, I think, Wednesday. And I couldn't believe it. And not only how many cars, but the variety. And I thought anybody could, it's like you've woken up And you're at an SCCA regional meet in the 60s or 70s or late 50s, and I can only see this thing growing because I'm thinking.
Let's talk a little bit. We got to hear from Willie.
Yeah, all right, okay, all right,
We're not-
but just
we
the
listened
one
to you after
thought
being here
was.
for 2 hours, you know.
All right, sorry.
They
This is
promised me he wouldn't talk that long.
this is a long-standing thing between a
Let's talk
couple
a
of the
little
people
bit
in the
about the
players.
cars that are here and this and that and the other. You know, I just been running
guess I'm
around
done.
out there for 2 hours
I thought I was the moderator, but apparently I'm not.
in a golf cart. And the idea being is to see all the cars and the trailers and the rigs and the mechanics and the teams. I didn't know that many existed in the United States that weren't in the junkyards by now. Parnelli and I were talking about it earlier, and it's amazing at the amount of old cars, and a lot of them we can actually recognize and see.
I thought I was supposed to shut up so Willie T could talk.
No, hey, Uncle Bobby always goes first.
Yeah.
I got a call from Mark Dill and Tony Porello, and they said, well, we're going to do this event in Indy, and these are the heavy breathers heavy breathers to all you women. And these are the heavy breathers that we're bringing in, Parnelli and Bobby and Al Jr. and Robbie Unser and Janet. And I thought, do these guys need a tax write-off? Because they're going to put us in their cars and act like we're going to drive around there and wave to the crowd. And I thought, damn, I mean, they got it. So I thought maybe I ought to bring a couple things. I'm going to bring some prune juice and some Viagra for us. And I'm going to bring some kaopectate and cheddar cheese for the owners, because they're going to be constipated for a while. So that was my first impression. And I just thought, I never raced on the same track with Parnelli Jones and Uncle Bobby. But I thought, wow, that would be like some of the young players being on the football field with Joe Namath and Johnny Unitas. That was, and then having Janet here, we have a little history together. And no, TMZ, are you here? So, but anyway, no, I just thought it was an honor to be here with the legends, and Robbie Unser will tell you about our history.
My turn.
Just a quick one for Willie T, and if you don't know this answer, it will surprise you. Who was your hero when you were a kid in racing?
Well, I mean, I had several heroes, especially, I had Jim Clark was one, Uncle Bobby was another, and we talk literally at least once a month now still, and he's just making sure that I'm doing the right thing. Calls and says, how you doing? And, I'm shooting shotguns with my son, and that's it.
He's dating you?
Yes.
There's a great shot of him when he was like about 10 years old, standing between Dan Gurney and Phil Hill. And I don't know how many people would guess that Jim Clark was Willie T's favorite driver. But anyway, questions for any of the panel here?
Janet, back when you came up in '76, you went through like this kind of racing and some of this. What was it like back then? You're looking at cars, some of them that were being driven when you came through the
That's true, and I particularly want to introduce a couple of people who are here. Sitting right behind you is Lisa Weinberger, who drives the Celica that I built from the showroom floor with the help of some volunteers in 1972. Excuse me. That was the car that followed my Jaguar XK140 and the rides I got at the Sebring 12-hour and Daytona 24-hour. Anyway, I saw Lisa drive it at Road America in 2005, and she does a fabulous job with it. Lisa, could you raise your hand, please? And I'd also like to introduce Pam Mooney, whose late husband Dick went to driver's school with me in Marlboro, Maryland in 1963, and who also co-drove my XK140 in the first ever 500-mile race at Watkins Glen, SCCA, of course, in 1964. Pam, would you raise your hand? Thanks. Yeah, this is Old Home Week here.
Questions for Al Jr. or Robbie Unser?
We get out easy.
There's one over here.
Okay, Al, I'd like to hear what your story on the famous thumbs up.
Famous one?
Thumbs up with MO. First off, I have some people that I want to introduce today, and that's my mom in the back corners. Wave, Mom. There you go. And I think this is a wonderful event. I'm really honored to be invited to it, like Willie was talking about. I got the call from Tony Perea and Mark Dill, and you know, we jumped at it, and so the one thing I asked was that I get a fast car, and I just went over to sit in my car. It's a 1969 Stingray Vet. And Pete Clute is the owner and my amateur driver. And I asked him, as a car, have you driven the car on the track and so on? And he goes, oh yeah, it's running really good. As a matter of fact, it's sitting on the pole for his race. So I go, all right, we did good. So yeah, we're fine. We're great. Needless to say, now the pressure's on me to go out and keep it there, I guess. So, but it's a wonderful event, like Uncle Bobby said. We were driving around in the golf cart and so on, and just to see all the magnificent cars here. We've got a group from Albuquerque, New Mexico, which Robbie can talk about a little bit later, and they're just loving it. There are a couple attorneys and a judge, and they're just absolutely in heaven. As a matter of fact, one of the attorneys, Bob McNeil, was in trouble with Robbie because he was late for one of his sessions. And I said, well, what was he doing? He was out taking pictures of all the cars. He didn't care about driving his car. He was out taking pictures. So that goes to show what this event is. And you know, I had dinner the other night with Tony George, and he thinks it's a great idea. It's a wonderful event. It's something that the Speedway is very proud of. And Tony, congratulations to you. It's a fantastic event. So we're excited to be here. And with that, Emerson was...
You had an opportunity to avoid this, you know.
Huh?
I thought you had a perfect opportunity to avoid answering this question.
Why would I want to avoid answering that question? It's one of the things I'm famous for around here.
Yeah, but the version you're going to tell is not the one that the public thinks.
Well, really what happened, we go in there and we crash, and we crashed. Yeah, I'm the one that crashed, okay. And thank you. And we stopped. I gave him thumbs up. I gave him thumbs up, and we stopped, and I got out of the car and got the helmet off, and I start walking out towards the track. One of the safety crew stands in front of me and asks me, he goes, "Al, where are you going?" And I said, "Well, I'm going out there." And he goes, "What, you want to flip him off?" I went, "Yeah." Like, duh. And he steps aside and he says, "Go right ahead." I mean, like that. So I march out there, and because it's under yellow, you know, I'm standing there waiting for Emerson, and it was, honest to God, it was like standing in the middle of a football stadium full of people, you know, and there was a moment of clarity of what really happened, and what he's coming around to do is get the checkered flag. The race is over. There's nothing I can do about it. And Emerson is a good friend of mine. And the last thing that he would do to any driver is to do anything to hurt them. That's the way Emerson is. And so when he came around, I gave him thumbs up and congratulations on his first Indy win. And then I went and got in the ambulance and started crying my head off, plain and simple. So it was a big disappointment, but it was one of my best drives that I ever had at the Indy 500, and so yeah, that's the true story.
Thank you.
That spoils the version that everybody thinks that you were just this perfect gentleman. Anyway, Al said something that I wanted to comment on when he said about the lawyers. And I was thinking in the last few days, how many people are in central Indiana, let alone across the country, that are now doctors and lawyers downtown that used to be FCCA regionals, and if they knew about this or even got a glimpse of it, they would go nuts. Because to me, right, I mean, it is just like going back in time. The whole feel, just going through the paddock. And, women with dogs on leashes and the cars coming back and forth and all the different classes. It's just like being at an FCCA regional meet. And I can just see this thing really taking off personally. But all right, questions? We're going to go for just about another 5 minutes, and then we'll move everybody outside.
No, I want Robbie to explain.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
No, it started with Mike Tyson.
Oh, God, well, which part? Willie T and I hung around quite a lot. He was one of my mentors when I started coming up, as a matter of fact. And he was really doing a good job with the Trans Am, and I was in Skip Barber. So I was fortunate enough to have him actually show an interest in me, and he really did help me quite a bit. One of the things he did that was really one of the coolest things in my life that happened is Willie T took me to a Tyson Burbick fight. And I was about 19, almost 20 years old, not quite 20 years old. And we got to meet Muhammad Ali in his room, ride to the fight with Ali, wanted us to drive in his limo with him, actually wanted Willie to drive it, and I sat next to him. And the whole experience was really amazing. And Willie did a lot to expand race drivers into other things and to promote our sport and to do a good job with that. And I was fortunate enough for him to take me with him. And it was one of the most memorable weekends that I've had, and was very fortunate to meet, the people that I met on that trip. And that's the nice version. We were there for a few days. Yeah, but it's, I'd just like to say I do have I'm coaching a few drivers out here that came from New Mexico, as Al Jr. said, and May, I've been here now since Sunday night, so I've been able to see them all come in and what's been going on and unloading and working with Tony here for a few days, and I am absolutely amazed and honored to be here with all of these cars. You can almost feel the spirit of the Speedway, happy with everything that's come back and what's running around here. So it's a beautiful place. Obviously, it means a tremendous amount to myself and my whole family and to everybody that's here. And so we, of course, are extremely honored that Tony was wanted us to come out and be a part of this, and we're just really happy to be here, really amazed at how the program's gone. Just can't say enough about how we've been treated and how Tony has put this thing off, and this is really, quite an event for what he's doing. This place has not seen an event like this quite yet, so it's really, really going to be a good one.
Robbie, let me tap that off just a little bit. A lot of people have asked me, since I got the call from Tony, and I was a hard sell on this deal. It took Tony probably 5 minutes to get me done, so some of the rest of them probably really quick. But at any rate, everybody, or a lot of people, have asked me, what is it that made the Speedway all of a sudden do this? Why would the Indianapolis Motor Speedway all of a sudden step out of what they normally do so far? That's a long ways from what they normally would do. And the regime has changed around here, as well as all of you know. But the one guy that's probably has more to do with it than anybody, because I'm on the inside of that deal, so I know what they're doing, and it's Dave Shaw. Dave, hold up your hand. He's the guy that works diligently with Tony. What time were you here this morning, Dave? 5 o'clock this morning going to work. That means he got up at 3, and I didn't leave him till midnight, so doesn't get any sleep, So at any rate, it's people like this in the new regime here at the Speedway that are making these things or allowing them to happen. And, for a guy like Tony Perella to come in and want to put on a thing like this, just a few years back, that would have been a big, big, big no at the Speedway. It would not have happened. Dick, am I right? Absolutely. And so it's guys like Dave Shaw now who are the big bosses here, and gets together with Tony. It makes sense. And I'm so surprised to see this many cars here. And we just hope nothing bad happens over the weekend. So as the Speedway says, yippee, this was a good deal, and it'll be bigger next year and bigger the year after. And that's what we're all after.
I'd just like to throw another thing out here. I think this is pretty amazing. Total number of drivers who have started an Indianapolis 500 is 756. The number living today, we believe, is 283 living. So that means that this weekend, more than 10% of the living Indianapolis 500 drivers are going to be on the grounds here. Question?
For Parnelli, when I was growing up, my dad always said, "Who the hell do you think you are driving this car? You're, driving like Parnelli Jones." When you were learning how to drive, which driver did your dad warn you about?
I want to be like A.J. Foyt. All I could say is Indy racing's been good to me, and speaking of Indy people that are still living, I'm the oldest past winner. I want to keep that for a while. But Indianapolis has been very good to me, and I'm just appreciative all the things it's done for me, because Speedway's done a lot of things for a lot of people. And of course, I also want to thank Tony for putting this on, because this is a major undertaking for him. I don't know how he can get around and do it as well as he does, but you see him running around, and he seems to appear everywhere, so I think there's more than one Tony around. But also, Bones here is here, who wrote my book, and he's one of my great friends. Nice to be here anyway.
Let's recognize Tony Perella, because I don't know if there's some of you maybe don't know him. So Tony, would you stand up, please? All right, okay, at this point, we know that a lot of you want to do one-on-ones with these guys, and ladies. So let's move everybody outside, and first we want to do the photo shoot with the 6 drivers here, with the 2 cars. So if you would allow us to just pose that shot, and then we will turn the drivers over to you to do your one-on-ones, and thank you all for coming, and thank you, drivers.